Hello and welcome to this, the visual edition of the Backstage podcast. All the latest news and interviews from the world of TV and film. And joining me is Sky's entertainment reporter Claire Gregory.
Hello.
And all the way from New York, Stevie Wong, TV and film reviewer.
Hello, Barbie.
Coming up on this week's show.
If your cover is blown, there is no saving you. You have to save yourself.
Do it quiet, and you do it clean.
Be careful poking that bear, or the target will be on you.
Still thinking chaos menu?
Yeah, chaos menu, but thoughtful.
How could you destroy all of those good memories? Who initiated it?
He did.
All it takes is one person to believe her.
Well, look, Stevie alluded to it. Barbenheimer is finally here. If you're going to the cinema this weekend, will you be going to Barbie? Will you be going to Oppenheimer? We have the two people in the know who can advise you what one you need to see. So, right, just very quickly, because we don't want to get into it too much. Claire, if you had to pick Barbie, Oppenheimer?
Go and see Oppenheimer. I think it's probably Nolan's best movie, which means it's probably one of the best movies ever, right?
Wow.
And it's so deserves being seen in a cinema, preferably on the biggest screen you can see it on, but any decent sized screen with a good stereo. Grab your popcorn because it is 3 hours long, but trust me, it isn't boring. It's worth the 3 hours. I absolutely loved it.
Well, I'm afraid then, Stevie, in that case, it's your job to defend Barbie. Why should we go and see Barbie?
It is a movie for all. If you love Barbie, you should watch this. If you hate Barbie, this is also a good film that makes fun of it. And if you never had a thought about Ken, this is the film that's going to make you fall in love with Ken. So, yeah, I would say it's a pink explosion, but there's some content underneath. So if you want something like that, this Barbie is going to be your weekend fun film.
Well, clearly it's affected us so much that we've gone colour coordinated today.
I know.
Honestly, though, if you had to pick, would it be Barbie or Oppenheimer?
Unfortunately, I'm going to choose Oppenheimer. But Barbie's a fun film. So,
controversial. Look, there's lots of great TV out this week, so should we crack on? If you fancy something that's a bit of sort of CIA action, this TV series is the one for you. It's on Paramount Plus. It's called Special Ops Lioness.
If she's able to make contact with the target, what are her directives then?
Neutralize the target.
Mr. President, we have a situation unfolding in real time.
Are you close?
Closer than we've ever been.
Look, that sums it up. There's a lot of action in this one, a brilliant cast. Stevie, I mean, the cast is the standout thing of this, isn't it?
it is a very impressive cast. It's created by Taylor Sheridan, the person behind Yellowstone in 1923. But Special Ops Lioness centers around an elite military unit of female operators who go undercover to kind of befriend the wives and the targets and the girlfriends of the targets in the world of terror. It has Zoe Saldana. It has Nicole Kidman. It has Morgan Freeman. It's got a lot. And I would say this is a star-studded action series that maybe you didn't know you wanted, but now you should.
Look, it's not really my bag because I'm not majorly into action or anything. But that being said, you loved it, didn't you, Claire?
I absolutely love this. I think the writing's really good. And I think Zoe Saldana is absolutely magnetic. And I just couldn't take my eyes off her. I think she's absolutely brilliant in this role. And in fact, it gets you thinking that she's pretty brilliant in everything she does, really. Now, just before the actors went on strike, of course, SAG-AFTRA have called their strike and they've all walked out and are on the picket lines and things. But just before that, we did catch up with her about the show and, in fact, about those strikes themselves.
I don't believe that organizations would be striking if they felt that there was a fairness in the game of the business that they're in. I hope that everybody comes together and reaches resolutions that seem fair for all parties involved. Because at the end of the day, 80% of the members of our union live day to day, live paycheck to paycheck. And they can't really afford to sustain a strike for longer than for longer than it's able to go on. So that's where my heart is.
We do have to say around anyone that we have on the show at the moment, that was recorded before the strikes because, all of the actors aren't really allowed to do interviews now, otherwise they're breaking strike protocol. But look, good one for Zoe Saldana. Very interesting one if you like your sort of thriller, suspense ones. It ends on a good cliffhanger, episode 1, so definitely a good weekend watch. And Special Ops Lioness is coming out this Sunday on Paramount+. Oh, can I contain my excitement about the show that we're going to talk about next? It's on Disney+. The Bear is returning for season 2.
We're going to be sending you to culinary school.
A hell of a lot of Sydneys in here.
Don't look him in the eyes.
Ideally, we need 5 days on. Yeah, I just can't do Fridays or Saturdays.
When can I talk to the chef?
You are.
Oh.
Oh, Stevie. I feel like The Bear was our baby, wasn't it? We were talking about this on Backstage last year, and it went on, as predicted, to win so many awards because it is so good. For those who haven't caught the first series, explain what it's all about, Stevie.
The first series was about this character named Carmi, who was played by Jeremy Allen White, who was in I don't know if you recognize him, Shameless, the US version. He's a young chef that comes from the fine dining world and returns back to Chicago to run his family's sandwich shop. I mean, that sounds quite boring, but actually it is one of the most dramatic,
and you
crazy.
get so excited about them just making these delicious looking sandwiches and the stress of it when they don't get the orders out on time and they're mounting up.
But they've like kind of cleared all of that. They've decided to now in season 2 to start his fine dining restaurant. And then, Carmi brings his team of characters, Sydney and cousin Richie and all these wonderful characters that we'll see in the season to then learn their craft and then build from scratch a fine dining restaurant.
And you revealed on the podcast something that makes us incredibly jealous, Claire, that you got to talk to cousin Richie.
Cousin Richie, played, of course, by Eben Moss-Backrack. So I spoke to him about that huge and obviously unexpected reaction that first series received.
It was astonishing, surprising, welcome. I'd never been a part of anything like that. So that was, I don't know, a highlight of my life thus far. And then conversely, that adds a lot of pressure when we start to make the second one because people are invested and, they've spent a few hours with these characters in their home, in their bedrooms, and they feel passionate about them. So you want to, live up to people's expectations.
I still cannot forgive you for talking to cousin Richie without me, but I'll try. I'll try to move on.
You can come along next time. We had to squeeze it in before the actors' strike, so there wasn't time to get you along.
Well, look, anyone who watched the first series of The Bear, the episodes that we've seen, rest assured, it's still incredibly good, incredibly cracking, great form. You'll have a very enjoyable weekend watching that because it comes out this weekend on Disney+. How about something different? Out on Prime Video this weekend, it's called 15 Love.
Spying on me. I don't want things to be difficult between us.
You mean you don't want them to be difficult for you? I know he is a bit of a beast. What do you know? Secret affair.
You don't have to be a tennis fan to watch this, but it helps. No, it doesn't actually help. It's fine. This is just a drama set in the elite world of tennis, professional tennis, starring Aidan Turner himself, Poldark.
Yeah, Mr. Poldark. He's back in a very different kind of role, actually. As you say, this is set in the world of tennis, but you don't need to be a tennis fan at all. Actually, there's not that much tennis. No. The first sort of 10 minutes are quite tennis-y, and then beyond that, it really is just the setting. It's really about relationships, power dynamics and truth, really. I sat down with Aidan Turner and Ella Lily Highland to talk about the show, and he was saying that it will get you thinking about why you judge the way you do in any given situation.
As an audience, who do we believe and on what grounds? Like, with no evidence, who's coming across as somebody who's believable or not? Okay, just because somebody might be a little messy or chaotic in their life or whatever, and another person might have quite a subdued disposition. Why is it that we go for that person as opposed to somebody else? And should we be more careful with our choices? Because that's quite a dangerous thing to make those initial judgments on somebody just because of the way they might hold themselves or conduct themselves. That has actually nothing to do with the truth of what this situation is.
And 15 Love is available now on Prime Video. And that's it for this week from us. Good week, though.
Yeah, strong week.
Great
week.
If you want to hear any more from any of the stars that we've talked about on this short TV version, well, listen to the main podcast itself, because we've got longer interviews with the stars of The Bear, 15 Love and Special Ops Lioness. And you can find the podcast either by scanning the QR code, which is on your screens now, or just looking for the podcast, search for Backstage in the normal way that you find your podcast. And we will see you again very shortly. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Stevie, for joining us. And we'll be back again soon. Bye.